Great afternoon and wonderful evening. Dear friends, let's go into meditation. I think I don't want to speak while this background noise is there. Um, those of you who are new, we're going into breath mindfulness meditation, observing our normal, natural breath. Our goal is to empty the mind. When I observe the breath, our mind becomes empty. So we call this anapanasati. This is a meditation described by Gautama Buddha. So we have thousands of thoughts and we need to empty the mind. When we empty the mind, we experience emptiness all around. Meditation is a process to go beyond the body and understand ourselves. When Raman Maharshi said always, who are you? Ask the question and the meditation is giving that answer. So we practice Anapanasati meditation. The posture is very simple, with your eyes closed, fingers into fingers, rest of hands comfortably on lap, cross the feet at ankle, and we observe our normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. Take any point on the nose and observe breath is going in and coming out. Breath is going in and coming out. Before we go into Anapanasati, we are we are doing a process called heart elevation to slow down our brain faster. When we fill up our heart with heightened emotions of love or gratitude or compassion, then our brain slows down. It goes down from the frequency of thought, it slows down and it helps us to go into the emptiness of the mind faster. So I do that process called heart elevation. The process is simple, follow my guidance. You'll keep your hands on your chest area with your legs crossed, eyes closed, and then recollect an event from your life of any of the heightened emotions of love or gratitude, compassion, appreciation. If you felt appreciated, if you felt a lot of gratitude for somebody, if you felt compassion to someone, all of those emotions, any of those events, you can recollect and then relive. And then automatically we are feeling that emotion in our heart, and automatically we are elevating ourselves into, automatically we are becoming slow in our brain. So then we go into breath mindfulness meditation from there so that we can get into deeper states sooner. And then finally, we end the meditation with gratitude, expressing gratitude. I'm guiding throughout the meditation so that it's easy to follow. Right, friends? When you're observing the breath, our mind becomes empty. But as you observe the breath, we do get distracted into the thought again. And when you recognize your thinking, bring your attention back to the breath. When you get distracted and when you recognize that you're thinking, you're in the thoughts, bring your attention back to the breath again, dear friends. So relax yourself, sit comfortably with your eyes closed. In Bhagavad Gita, Uddared Atma Uddared Atma Atmanam Atmano Bhava Sadhet. That's exactly what Gautama Buddha said to Apo Dipo Bhava. You have to take care of your problems by your own self. Uddared Atma Atmanam. We have to solve. We have to take care of ourselves by our own self. We are the friend, we are the enemy to ourselves. There's nobody is going to come and solve our challenges. Everything can be solved by ourselves with our own strength or our own weaknesses. The whole meditation program is to empower ourselves with this understanding that we have the strength, we have the power to solve our challenges or create our life by our own self. So as we understand this quantum field, or what we call this spiritual intelligence, a spiritual quotient, physical quotient, emotional quotient, intelligent quotient, then there is spiritual quotient, which is truly making us understand that Uddarid Atma Atmanam, be a light unto yourself. I can be a light unto myself. Because the whole world is about what can you give me? All the conflict is coming because of that. This is me, I want to protect mine, and what can you give me? If I can solve myself, I can take care of myself, I am the light to myself, then that expectation is not there. The moment expectation is not there, then life is, there's no conflict anymore. There's zero conflict. It is great to understand this concept of spiritual quotient. Let me put up this chart. So we are in the second week. Meditation, we understood, is giving us great health, energy, and intelligence, two core pillars at the bottom. We develop passion for life. We feel like, yes, now I have that health, I have the energy, so why would I not be able to do anything that I always wanted to do, or anything, things that I said I can't do anymore, but now we can start doing it. Health is in our hand. IQ and PQ are there, so we can absolutely take up anything that we want to do. Again, things like music, things like freshly taking up a job that we want, or an initiative that we want to take, is no bar. Then we have understood EQ. Whole of last week was about EQ. To develop great relationships, to develop their friendships, drop all expectations from any relationship, because ultimately what exists is friendship. So SQ is the spiritual quotient, which is the, when we understand it, we recognize that it is a much larger part of, much larger than any of these. Spiritual quotient. The spiritual quotient, while we have heard this in various statements, is putting it all together. Now, something very strongly is also corroborated by quantum physics. Everyone is inside me. That means I'm one with everybody. I'm not different from you. You're not different from me. That me and that you have unlimited potential. In each of us, we have unlimited potential. That is number two. The third one is saying, I create my reality by my own self. Unlimited potential, I create my reality, my own self. You're not causing me my reality, or somebody else is not causing my reality. I'm causing my reality. Whether it is good or bad, my external situations are merely a reflection of myself. Then the next one is, there is enough for everybody. I have enough potential so I can do things, but then I can do it in a way where I don't have to fight, I don't have to compete with, I don't have to dominate somebody to take it, because there is abundance. I don't have to dominate somebody to take it. I don't have to go make myself poor me so that people will give me sympathy and give me something. You don't have to do that. There is abundance for everybody. And there is this, while as much as I'm creating, there is also this higher intelligence constantly helping me, which many from my Indian system, it is easy to understand. There is this higher intelligence which is always helping me. So, dear friends, so spiritual quotient, or understanding this little more scientifically, each of these statements, right? And I think while we've heard it again and again, but I think it's important we put it all together, because ultimately this is where it is coming from meditation, and then understanding this bigger self, that we are clearly the architects of our own life. Be a light unto yourself, so we can actually lead our life by ourselves, solving all the challenges, whatever that we have in a problem, but we can solve it by ourselves. So first statement is that everyone is inside me. So how do we get this? The quantum energy field is clearly said we're all connected to each other. It said we're all energy, right? It said we're all energy. We're all emptiness, we're all energy. So emptiness, energy. Energy is waves, so waves are spread all over. So everybody is connected to each other, because the waves are going all over. So they're all connected. They're all connected. So everything is connected. So we become one big energy field. So when we are in this non-dual nature, we are this energy field. When we are withdrawn attention from the matter, we are this energy field. And as an energy field, we are this everything. So in a dual nature, anybody who is seeing themselves as material reality, they're merely being part of ourselves. But when we become everything, everybody is inside that everything, right? So we connect to each other in the energy field. So this is one single large field. You are that field, I am that field. We take is infinity inside infinity, inside infinity, inside infinity. So when we recognize that we are, everybody is there with me and then I am with everybody, this statement itself, as we understand it, yes, there is this duality of life is there. But when you understand that fundamentally we are equal, we're all the same, because we're all that same energy, and then when we experience that energy in meditation, go away from body and then experience energy in meditation, slowly, 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 we recognize that what am I competing for? Why am I having these differences for? So this can only come when we experience meditation difference. We read, of course, books, and the books continues to tell us that Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. When you read Vedas, you tell us, scriptures, you tell us, various spiritual masters tell us that. But we have to experience it. The moment we understand this more and more, slowly we drop our separateness and then we start becoming one. Ultimately, it is just oneness. Thought other way, when you see this whole manifestation is happening this way, when you see, when we become one with this energy field in that meditation, then it's like everything is we become that whole field, and then quantum field is saying there is infinite possibility. So now everything is inside of that field, right? Because you are the whole, you have, so everything is inside you. So it's a matter of taking from our inside and then experiencing it, isn't it? It is just that. If I'm a restaurant of every dish in the world and then it's all with me, then I can anytime order anything I want and take it and eat it. It's like that. And everything is inside me, everyone is inside me. So when we recognize ourselves as that, then automatically manifestation becomes so natural because it's all there. We just have to believe that it is fundamentally true, dear friends. But it is helping us become one with others, avoid conflict. The second is this field has infinite possibilities. Quantum physics is saying it's all energy. You are energy, I am energy. And since when this energy is connected to each other, because it's are waves, and waves of what? Waves of possibilities. Because the possibility is there, that electron which is traversing beyond speed of light. So our deep inside, that subatomic particle level, all of that is beyond speed of light. So it can exist anywhere. By default, exists as wave. By default, the electrons, neutrons, deep inside, the things that really carry weight in our body, mass in our body, existing as waves. So the waves of possibilities. Because possibilities, because it is becoming matter only when somebody is observing. So it's a possibility, otherwise waking as a wave. So so many of these, all the everything in that whole universe is waiting as a waves of possibility, and any combination of that can get produced into matter. So the field has infinite possibilities, and so that means we have unlimited potential because unlimited possibilities come there. A I can be a beggar, I can be a prince, I can be a strong academician, I can be just very dumb if I want to choose to be. I can be successful, I can be failure. Anything is a possibility. I can be a follower, I can be a leader. Everything is a possibility, and hence it is, we are that possibility, right? The field. So when we understand that the field, we are that field, and the field is unlimited potential, that means we have unlimited possibilities. Everything is possible and nothing is impossible, from Karthikeyan's statement that we've heard in the past sessions. These possibilities we can also see from successful leaders' lives. Just from a material perspective, understand it. How much can be done can be seen by people who have really stood out as examples, whether it is Mahatma Gandhi ji. How much can be done? Mother Teresa ji. How much? There is no limit to which all countries she could travel, what all types of situations she could go in and then serve. We can't even comprehend from a normal human mind that how is it possible that she actually could go into so many conflict zones, so many situations, and then still be brave enough to be able to serve people. So the potential that we have is, we're talking of scientifically, dear friends, is that this quantum field is unlimited, waves of possibilities, because everything is energy is waiting to happen. So we recognize that we have that. So the moment we have that, we no longer, from a as a leader perspective, we no longer fix ourselves. This is the whole thing. This unlimited potential, why is it not becoming unlimited? It's becoming limited because we have this fixed mind. What is this fixed mind? We come with we come with certain beliefs. That's it. We come with the certain beliefs, limited thinking, limited beliefs, fixed mind. We got to remove this fixed minds, and automatically, when it is unlimited, if it is everything is unlimited, then is there a limit to how many ways we can grow the business? How many ways you can grow your nonprofit? How many ways we can serve people? How many ways we can enjoy life? So there's unlimited. So we, from a fixed mind, I say only this way things can happen. If I have to go to Himalayas for travel, there is only these five things I need to see. That's it. That's fixed mind. Growth mind, there is so many is there. There is anything is possible. I am open. I am saying yes. So especially in businesses, fixed mind, I can only grow 10% per year. It is not possible. Growth mind, I'm open to ready to see what is coming in a way, and then I'm ready to take it, because there is always any possibility exists. Suddenly, a corona kind of pandemic can change everything. So any possibility can exist. If that is a possibility of world economy sadly being come to a standstill of zero, so why can't then be what an economy growing at certain percentage cannot grow double the percentage? Any possibility exists, right? So we naturally move from a fixed mind to a growth mind. All of us, in the business setting, in home setting, in our organizational setting, we start becoming growth minded because we recognize that there are many, many ways we can actually experience what we are doing. Many, many ways we can experience it, unlimited ways. Then quantum physics statement, very important, dear friends, is observation collapsing the possibility from the field. Is essentially means that whatever we think and feel is creating our outer situation. So then where is the question of somebody else causing something to me? There is a question of injustice and tragedy. That's why when Richard Bach says the mark of your belief in injustice and tragedy is the depth of one's ignorance. If we truly recognize that I'm constantly causing my reality because my thoughts and feelings is what makes this reality created by me outside, observation collapse the possibility. So we stop blaming people and for situations. Instead, we start taking ownership. So meditators naturally become very self-responsible. Don't try to point fingers and then blame others. It is a natural quality that's going to build in, because we will start experimenting. This thoughts and feelings creativity will start experimenting. We start seeing synchronicity. We start seeing things happening for us the way we feel. So blame, we move to ownership. We don't blame anymore. Traffic is not bad. Traffic is bad. This government is not doing anything. So stop blaming. You see if there is anything that we can do by not taking our car and then take a bus or something, carpool, if that is a problem. It is also said that my reality by me is yadbhavam tadbhavati, right? For everything, it is, while science is there, for each of these statements, we know that it is already there in our scriptures, it is always there. Aham Brahmasmi is there, Yadbhavam Tadbhavati is there. That means your intent produces your reality is there. Whatever that you think is what's happening is there. Next one is, dear friends, abundance. So unlimited opportunities in everything we do in this field. So that since that field has unlimited potential and possibilities, when you view it from this way, there is an unlimited opportunity. We don't have to rush in. We don't have to compete to dominate. We can compete to excel. This lack consciousness moves away. So feeling that I don't have it, if then we truly understand that infinite energy and energy becomes matter. So where is our question of something is not there? So physically speaking, also, it is always our thought which causes that lack in our mind. Everybody, overall, in a grand scheme of things, the businesses always grow. The population is growing. Resources are growing. There are only more resources than ever before that we see. Everything is growing. Just from a material perspective, also, everything is growing. Our inventions are growing, our discoveries are growing. But in a given time frame, we may say that okay, something is a loss or loss is there. But at the grand scheme and the grand time scale, always there is evolution, there is a growth only. That's also called in the six spiritual laws the law of constant progression. Everything progresses. So this it is there is only growth. There is not degrowth. It is abundance. When abundance is there, it is always growth. So we recognize that there is enough for everybody. I don't have to compete. So starting from trying to go for get a train reservation to going into a queue and then rush in and say I need to get there before other person so that now I can be the first to get that. We all know top or whatever percentage that anyone who crosses 70 or 80% is always been generally been excelling in studies. It doesn't have to be only the top ranker. Of course, there is a lot to change from education system, but otherwise, we are moving away from a ranks to a grade system, so it is even better. It is us who make it competent, right? When we say that okay, there is limited, so you got to be first. The competitive environment to excel myself should be there. Instead, hey, you have to beat the other person is there, which is where we have to really slowly we go away from it. When you recognize that you are me, I am you, then we'll start appreciating even if you succeed, I succeed. But dear friends, infinite from infinite energy, any possibility can be created. So there has to be then abundance is there. No matter whatever that I wish to have in my life, I can create it. So where is the question? Whatever that I want to do from a business, it can be possible to be created. We are only limiting through our own mind. Fixed mind. If we want to open up to a growth mind, then we move away from scarcity to abundance because automatically it gets created. So unlimited opportunities in everything from a quantum field perspective. And the last one, dear friends, is higher intelligence, greater intelligence, always paying attention. So this is what we're talking about. This whole quantum field, our own definition of God, our super intelligence, greater mind, any of those, which is higher than ourselves, as much as we play the game in here. There is intelligence that is also there. Without intelligence, for example, our autonomous nervous system or our body, how is it functioning? Automatically. Automatically, this body is functioning. How is it functioning? How are these planets are going to be so coherently existing? So we know that. I mean, it is not to be told. We know that there is this higher intelligence that is helping. If we never believed in God, we don't have to believe in God if we didn't want to. But then, if you understand scientifically, there is this quantum field of intelligence, which is everything is energy of waves of possibilities. And from there comes the reality. But having said that, we haven't created this body in how is this trillions of cells of operations are happening in the body without you and I ever knowing, without even science not able to explain how things are coming together. So this higher intelligence is always there. What exactly we tap into when we go into meditation? We are going into meditation, we're becoming one with this quantum energy field, or that consciousness, that Brahma, the consciousness, the creation. It is there, which is the field of all creation, field of all existence. From where comes the matter? Through our observation. So once we understand this intelligence is there, it is always matching. What you seek, where you place your attention, is coming back to you in return. Like when Meenaji is looking for ballroom dancing opportunity, exactly matched with what will be the best expression of that is from that particular greatest rock, whatever that club is in United States. It matched with the best expression of itself by coming back an opportunity for her to participate. Now it's up to her to how much stronger intent she would have to take that opportunity to convert into a reality experience. But opportunities come because the higher intelligence is always paying attention. What we seek is seeking you. And so it is always helping us. If we decide to get better and then say that I'm going to be absolutely healthy and then I'm going to be get back to my regular walks, then it is going to come back and help us if we didn't have any doubt. Higher intelligence is always helping us. So this is also another way to look at difference is mind over heart or heart over mind. Our mind is that thought, which is the greatest expression for dual nature. Our heart is the feeling or an emotion which is coming from this, that intuition which is coming from this intelligence. Power of consciousness is through heart, power of mind is through this brain. Both are there. So we'll continue to listen into our heart more and more and more. So when we want to take a original decision, we take it. If I have to start the business and then scale it up to 100 crores, and then I want to know whether it is the right time to do it all in 1 year or 3 years, how do we decide? While you put your plan, but there is also somewhere deep inside your instinct is telling, hey, go slow, take your time. Suppose that instinct tells, then it's listening to our heart. It's not pure analytical mathematical calculation. You know that big market is there. Market is big, but can you scale it up suddenly from 0 to 100, or should you go a little slowly? Our heart can absolutely tell us that, intuition can tell us. The more we meditate, dear friends, the more our intuition is getting stronger. Our called clarity is getting stronger. So we take a decision through the heart, and then of course, then we apply our whole cognitive mind intelligence to refine it, refine it, refine it. The original idea to invent a beautiful headphone comes, and then we refine it using our cognitive creative skill from the faculties of our right brain. Then we of course refine it and then make it round, and then this and this and that and all that we do through the capabilities of mind. But we fundamentally listen into the heart. So which means that we are aligning to the things that are right for us, because the feelings are coming. The feelings are the ones which are producing our outer reality significantly, because feelings are so much more powerful. And then we're aligned to the feelings. That means we're going to be right. We're going to be happy, satisfied. It is helping us tap into that intuition, which is that higher power. Naturally, meditation, dear friends. So meditation, in each of the statements, meditation is helping us increase our understanding, and then helping us to translate that knowledge into wisdom. By so what we experience this whole consciousness, emptiness. So we get this feel. So many people who have this transcendental experience, many people who have the transcendental experience get that feel that, okay, I am much larger than this body. Just enough, that's enough. The moment we have started having those feelings, then automatically we start developing that natural, unexpected friendships. When we start experiencing synchronicities, then we start seeing, yes, that manifestation, that visualization, when you start doing it, even do it without doing it also, because synchronicities happen. You think of something, automatically starts happening, and we realize, okay, so meditation is increasing our ability to stay onto the positive state, so naturally things start happening. So through meditation, we tap into our intuition. So again, we feel confident about our decisions. So dear friends, the spiritual intelligence, a spiritual quotient, understanding it scientifically, and of course, understanding it from our scriptures is always there, is again and again telling us that we create our own reality. Uddare Atmanatmanam. We are the enemy to ourselves, we are the friend to ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. And ultimately, that's the message from this whole meditation. Then we get liberated. That's it. The moment we recognize that everything is inside me, then I can create what we want. And without dominating somebody, without unnecessarily competing, suppressing somebody, then we are liberated. We are liberated even for children. We feel that we are very successful, but child is not successful, is not even got into my education. I'm great, successful business leader, my child is not, then constantly we are worried. But why worry? If that means if we are worried about our children, then we're not recognized that they're not, that they're also equally as infinite potential as you. We have not understood that clearly. If we're expressing sympathy to somebody, we are not understood that they are as good as us. If we are interfering and then giving advice, hey, do this way, do this way, do this way, that means somewhere deep inside we do not have the confidence that they are the same as us. That's why healing, no, no. Unsolicited advice, no, no. What's the point in giving? We question people when it is going to help them grow spiritually. That means help them understand this knowledge that I can create my reality myself. If somebody you think is going to get benefited by questioning them, meaning giving them advice or questioning them and say, do this, don't do that, question, right? In whichever way within your authority that you have, provided it is going to help them grow spiritually. Not for material things, let them experience it. So it's all just a game, material. But if it's going to help them grow spiritually, that means if there is a meditation class is there, if there is a beautiful book is there, and then you give them and they don't study or they don't do it, question them and say, why don't you spend time on reading it? Rather than giving material advices, question deeply. Like Karthikeyan sir is constantly asking people, understand this, understand this, because it's going to help you great. There's Scott Peck, a great Harvard professor, has written in his book, The Road Less Traveled. When I read this in 2002, that you don't have a right to question anybody unless it's going to help them grow spiritually. It was like, wow. You don't have a right, he says you don't have a right to question anybody. You have to allow people to experience their own life, because if you recognize that they are as powerful as that Aham Brahmasmi Tatsumasi is there. So if you recognize that, then let them also experience their life, because they learn, they fall and learn. Because knowledge, we can keep on giving any amount of knowledge, it cannot be just taken. Right? We know that we've seen it far too many times with us, particularly our children. They'll have to experience it. If they come to us for the help, yes, that's not when we keep quiet. That's the time we actually open up and then give advice. If they come to us, then we should give that full help, give advice. But then we have to let them experience it as much, dear friends. Physical hurt, physical protection is the only thing that we are here to do, because every one of us come with our own design. So physically, if somebody is hurting themselves, which happens below 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, then we got to take care of them by stopping them from doing it. But everything else, automatically, they will slowly learn, is a constant understanding. In Patrizi's words, non-violence, non-killing, non-interference. Three things no's are there. Non-violence, no killing, and the no interference. Of course, the do's are middle path and meditation. So do everything moderation. That happens automatically through meditation. Middle path is moderation. Anything we can do other than these three. So thank you, dear friends. It's always good to understand the bigger perspective of why we are meditating at the end. And then a lot of this is slowly experienced when we practice more and more meditation. Thank you all, and have a great day. We'll meet back tomorrow again.